Alrighty, my fellow Sonic fans, we've got multiple Sonic game related stuff scheduled for this year. One being a re-release of a collection that happened, the other being DLC for the best game of 2022. Oh wait, I forgot about Ragnarok. But that's not all the content we've got coming this year. Recently, the director of Sonic Frontiers accidentally revealed a new 2D Sonic game for us to look forward to. So with all of us in the Sonic community now aware that there is another Sonic game project coming soon, that leads us to wonder, what will this be like? What's the gameplay gonna be like? How will the story be? Will it be linked to Frontiers? What will the art style be like? Will it be something akin to the classic Sonic games? Please don't be. Or will it be along the lines of the 2D sprite work from Sonic Advance Trilogy? Or a Sonic Rush style game? Or will it be a 2.5D game like the Sonic 4 games? It's hard to tell right now, mainly because it's due to the fact that we literally know nothing about this project, even though that's the way it's kinda supposed to be, because we were not supposed to know about this at all whatsoever. So while we wait for a possible announcement at a Sonic Central that may or may not be coming soon, today I would like to give what I want to see in this new 2D game. This is mainly just some things I would like to see in this game, and it does not have to happen at all. So with all that said, let's get started. First up on the wish list is the 2D sprite art style similar to the Advance series. These sprites are my favorite of the entire series. I love these sprites! I don't know what it is about them, I don't know why, I don't know how, but I remember back when I was a young lad, I'd play games like Ultimate Flash Sonic or Final Fantasy Sonic or watch a Flash animation back then, and I would just love the way these sprites look, from the animations to the expressions of them. It just always clicked with me. I don't know what it is about them, I just love them. I love the look and design of the characters. It just looks so good. The running animations, the idle animations, literally everything else too. This kind of style just works for the 2D Sonic games. I like the other styles as well, don't get me wrong, but this is just where 2D Sonic games peaked in my opinion. So for the new 2D game, I would really love to see this kind of art style brought back in a new way. Now, if they want to use the original ones, that would be perfectly fine with me, but I feel as though now it's time for maybe a makeover. I think it's time that they make some new sprites now. Maybe have a new style that's more akin to the current Sonic cast, kind of to modern things up a bit. I feel though if they go down this route, it would be very loved by a lot of us in the Sonic community. Now, them going down this road is honestly 50-50. On one end, I could see them doing this 100%, but on the other, they could end up doing something like a 2.5D style like with the Sonic 4 games, which I'm also kind of fine with actually, if they just make the physics right. Overall, I really want to see this style return for the next 2D Sonic game. If it does, I'll go freaking crazy, man, I tell you. But only time will tell if it happens, and if they do, it'll be awesome. The second thing on the wish list is other playable characters. Now recently, we're seeing this return in Sonic Frontiers via DLC updates. Specifically, the third one scheduled later this year. But I also want to see the return of them here as well, like Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. I don't only want to play as Sonic in this. I'm tired of playing as just Sonic. That's how it's been for the past decade. I want something different. And no, I don't mean two Sonics either. I don't want that. The last 2D Sonic game that had other playable characters in it was Sonic Advance 3. After that, they are not in any other 2D game. Not sure why, to be honest. I guess you could say Sonic Rush with Blaze, but that's the only one other character. But now, they have the chance to bring them back for this new 2D game. They can also even make the story be like from their perspective, like in Adventure 1. Each of them has like a different story campaign. Now for gameplay, it should not be that difficult at all. It's 2D gameplay. It's been done before. It doesn't have to be that complex like a 3D game. It's honestly very simple for them to do. Give Tails the flight, Knuckles the glide, and wall climbing. Both of them can have a spin dash for all I care. And Amy, skipping, I guess? I think that's what this is. Honestly, they can make a new moveset for her if they wanted to. Though actually, while writing for this video, Origins Plus has been revealed officially, and we've seen Amy showed off here. So if they wanted to, they could try something along the lines of this, with the hammer swing in the air and whatnot. That would be pretty cool. Now, this comment could age like fine wine, or it could age like milk. Alright, then again, the last time I mentioned Origins Plus on this channel, that video aged like wine and milk at the same time somehow. Also, yes, I'm aware everyone, I set myself up for disappointment for Game Gear games, alright? Leave me alone! Bottom line is, I would love to see multiple playable characters in 2D Sonic again. Not only would it add more content and replayability to the game, but also let us just have more fun and give us the opportunity to play as our favorite characters more, because any chance we get to play as other characters other than Sonic is always a big W in a Sonic game. So I really hope they are included here. Next thing that I would very much like to see added is Shadow. Now this could have been easily added to the last thing, but this needs its own discussion. Take a moment and think for a second. Shadow has not been any official 2D Sonic game. Not the Advance Trilogy, not the Rush games, none. I guess you could count Sonic Battle, he has his own sprite and animations in that, but that's more of a Smash Bros. Clone. It's not more of like a, linear platforming 2D Sonic game. So I think for this, it would be a great time to bring him in, especially right now, mainly because with the recent news of the Shadow mandates finally getting lifted. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to these mandates. You know, the ones that where one of those rules consisted of Shadow not allowed to have any friends? What? So the Shadow's character hopefully getting back in the right place, perhaps we can now see more of him again. And maybe they can give him different moves too from Sonic gameplay wise in this game as well. The reason why I say this is to help differentiate the two hedgehogs and give players a reason to play a Shadow in this game and not just make it seem like a Sonic clone. Like here, let's picture this. Like for Sonic, he can have the spin dash, momentum, and jump gameplay akin to the advanced games. Heck, they can even give him the drop dash as well if they wanted to, which is kind of most likely, now that I mention it, mainly due to the fact that how popular it has become in most recent Sonic games, also with it now being in 3D with Sonic Frontiers. That can be Sonic's moveset for this game, and I think we'd all be pretty happy with it. While with Shadow, they can have the 2D boosting mechanics akin to the Rush titles, like boosting, stomping, also tricks as well to fill up the boost gauge. I see this as an absolute W, guys. It not only would make Shadow more interesting to play as, but it would also make it so Shadow just doesn't look like he was just copy and pasted over Sonic like in other games. I think this has a lot of potential right here. I just think including Shadow in a 2D Sonic game for the first time can make this really a good experience, and much like what I mentioned earlier, with other characters and story, his campaign can take place in his perspective. I really hope Shadow is in this new 2D game. Fingers crossed, guys. Next up is something that is an absolute must. That is some kind of two-player mode. When it comes to a Sonic game, the two-player mode was always such a great time with the games that had it. From the variety of battle modes in Adventure 2 where you could either race, shoot each other, or treasure hunt to see who could get the item first. Also, there was Sonic Heroes where you could race against each other, and I actually have somewhat fond memories of playing the Sonic Heroes races when I was a kid with my mom. Then there is Shadow the Hedgehog where, much like Adventure 2, you shoot each other to the death. Then there's 06 where I actually also have somewhat fond memories of with my mother as well. You know what? God bless my dear mother. She gave up her time to play this with me. In 06, you mainly have whoa, wait, what? In 06, you mainly have two ways you can do multiplayer. First one being that you could work together and get the Chaos Emeralds, or you could just race and you can attack the other player as well. There was also the storybook games as well, and in those they're very different. Like Secret Rings had a party mode where you're trying to be the first to get a certain item, then play multiple mini games along the way. That actually sounds kind of pretty familiar. It's almost like it's like it's been done before by something else. I don't know. I think it's trying to come to mind, but I just can't think of nothing. And then there's Black Knight. Pretty much in that, it was a fight to the death. Then there was Colors, to where it's Eggman's Sonic Simulator, where you play as a little Sonic robot thing, and you can also race with your Miis, and also have multiple color Sonics as well. It's alright. Then Lost World, it's literally the same thing. So basically what you could see is that the Sonic games that did have multiplayer were pretty cool, and it truly is a shame Frontiers didn't have a two-player mode. But I can kind of see why, the kind of game it is. But for this being a 2D Sonic game, there is a lot of potential here for a two-player mode. It has a lot of potential for what they can do. First off, let's pretend this will be exclusive to the Switch for a moment. For the Switch, you can have local multiplayer across you and another person's Switch, kind of like how the DS handled multiplayer back then, to where you can play with each other's separate Switches and just pretty much have your own screen. Okay, so now let's say it's not exclusive to the Switch, and this is in fact coming to all consoles and PC. How can they handle multiplayer? First of all, let us have multiple options like to work together or race against each other, as well as they can have it to where you can choose the characters that are in the game and you can race each other or work together in a co-op mode of some kind. Heck, they can even make us have the ability to race online too. Just don't let it be completely busted on day one like that one game. Let us have a fun multiplayer in a Sonic game again. Please! It's been, over 10 years! Sorry, what? There is a good amount of potential for a two-player mode in this game. It's all a matter of them actually taking the time to let us have it. So please, let us have a two-player mode in the Sonic game again. Alright, the last thing on this wish list is I want to see playable super forms. Throughout the majority of most Sonic games, whenever you collect all the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic can then turn into Super Sonic. And then you can play Super Sonic in regular Sonic gameplay, not just the final boss. All the way back in Sonic 2, carried over to Sonic 3, Sonic R, Sonic the Fighters, and then it stopped in Sonic Adventure. I don't know if it was originally planned and maybe it didn't work out, but hey, at least we have mods. But then he would only be playable in final bosses only throughout the mainline games, but in spin-off games like Sonic Riders, he would be playable via the regular race mode if you unlock the Chaos Emerald as a gear. Even in Sonic 06, there was a lost animation found that looks to be a playable Super Sonic in 06, but knowing how much that game was rushed out the door, they probably couldn't implement it in time. Which is a real shame. Seeing this, it looks like it would be pretty cool to have. Like, once you beat the final story, you could play as an unlockable Super Sonic. That would have been really awesome. Yet again, another reason to be glad that Chaos X has brought it back. God bless you and your whole team, Chaos X. Now Supersonic would only be playable via boss fights throughout the 2000s, and Supersonic would not become playable in a Sonic game again in regular gameplay till Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 in 2010, and becoming playable for the first time in a 3D boosting game being Sonic Colors, and returning in Sonic Generations and Lost World, also enforced as well for $2. What? And at the time of this video, no playable Supersonic in Frontiers without mods. Though I doubt they'll put them in, but I could be wrong. They did bring back playable characters. But in this new 2D game, I want to see playable super forms again. I'm going to assume Supersonic is in this game, mainly because of the return the form has made recently, thanks to the movie, and also in Sonic Frontiers. But how will we get to play as him? There can be two ways. One can be final boss, then unlock him, which will be an interesting way. But I want to see some form of special stages return in this game, and we get the emeralds, and then, you know, once we get all 7, we can then play Supersonic in the levels. Also, once you get all the emeralds, they can also have a true final boss and ending as well to add more of a reason to go after the emeralds. But just having that playable Supersonic in this would be really great to have. And if they want to, they can maybe throw in a Super Shadow too as well. That would be really cool to see. Overall, I really would love to see playable super forms in this, mainly because it's always such a great reward to place an unlockable Supersonic in a Sonic game, and this will be the first time in a modern 2D game they could bring this in. But I would really love to see it here, just because it would just be really nice to have. I really hope this makes a return here for this game. And with that, these are some of the main things I want in the next 2D Sonic game. Even if these things on this wish list don't end up happening, well, I'll be a little sad. I'm sure though that we still likely have something good in store for us later this year. But I want to know, what do you guys want to see in this next 2D Sonic game? Was it one of the things I mentioned, or do you have your own pick? Let me know in the comments. One last thing, everyone, before I end this video, and this is likely the only time I'm ever going to plug this on the channel, but the channel now has super thanks. If you'd like to support the channel and drop a super thanks, that would be very much appreciated. Note this is not mandatory at all. You do not have to do it at all. It is entirely up to you. Alright, plug over. With that said, that's the end of today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. Thank you so much yet again for 1,000 subscribers. I truly am eternally grateful for every single one of you all. Anyways, I will see you all in the next one, and until then, everyone, take care.